Welcome back. I thought I would just give an update on the Starship Trooper Terran Command. As I was working my way through the campaign, Slytherin did release several updates that had mentioned that they were going to start making some tweaks to this game. So maybe after it gets out of beta, I'll go back and play some of these changes. But back on June 9th, they did note that they were going to make some major changes and that they were planning on it. They hadn't released much at this point in time. But when it came to the campaign, they're going to kind of break this into different areas here. So you have the summer of 2025, autumn 2025, end of 2025, and early 2026. They'll release some new DLC, which should be good. But if you enjoyed my playthrough of this game and the DLC, and you were thinking about maybe purchasing it yourself, this could be important for you to know, because this summer they are going to make a bunch of new changes here. So in the summer of 2025, the campaign update. So the first free update begins with bringing new content and improvements to the base game and both of the existing DLC. New player units have been added to the Kawasha campaign, and there are several also in the DLC campaigns. Many of the missions on Kawasha have also been updated to focus on the new units and enhance the overall experience. So once they start rolling those things out, if you're playing the campaign, you may find that there's been some changes that definitely felt a little bit clunky on certain missions. And then the Rising Hell DLC, there will also be a small amount of new mercenary unit types, along with significant improvements to the campaign missions. And Urban Onslaught has additionally been updated with several changes to his missions, mostly focusing on the new unit. So what that means exactly, I'm not quite sure. But what they say is with the updates, they expect significant improvements, specifically targeting the slow runs you may have experienced during long play sessions on longer maps. I didn't really notice huge performance issues, at least that I really noticed, but occasionally you'd experience a lag. But they said that over the next month that would be started to be rolled out. So that would be July, and obviously with it being July now, they just started to roll that out as I was bringing this game to a close. In autumn of 2025, they want to create a territory mode. And so what this is going to be a new game mode. It'll offer you unprecedented freedom in unit selection and tactics, which will be played on random maps, it looks like. And it'll allow you to capture territory points, allowing you to keep pushing in the game. The base game and each DLC will have exclusive territory mode maps and their own unique battle groups. So it sounds like this will be like a challenge mode. So maybe once all this stuff is ironed out, I'll go back and maybe do some of these things, and then choose your battle group and challenge the arachnids across countless generated mission variations. So I don't know if that means it's just going to be skirmish maps or what specifically that's going to be, but we'll look into that. And then at the end of 2025, first battle group DLC. At the end of the year, we'll release a new type of DLC that's focused exclusively on territory mode. Fight the bugs on several new territory mode maps set on a brand new planet, each with its own unique environments, bringing several new arachnoid unit types. Unlike current available DLCs, there will be no story campaign, so that's important to know if this is something that you're interested in. Instead, you'll gain exclusive access to uniquely themed battle groups featuring its own units, technologies, and game mechanics. So what I suspect that's going to be is just doing like skirmish maps with unique factions, and then just have to go through and unlock things, kind of like how Planet Supremacy works for Battle Sector. I wonder if that's not what this territory mode's going to be. I guess we'll figure it out in autumn and see what it feels like and see if it's worthwhile to buy this DLC. But overall, I prefer when DLC just has kind of a story and adds some units and things. I find that to be the most rewarding, and then it gives you an idea. And then early 2026, you'll get a new story campaign DLC similar to Rising Hell and the Urban Onslaught, which will have a brand new story campaign, a jungle planet, new characters, new units, new arachnids. And so that'll be released with some new maps in the territory, and then a new unique battle group. So it'll kind of tie all this stuff into each other. So I'm glad to see that they're putting some effort into the game. I hope they kind of improve the unit movement AI so they're not like a bunch of lemmings and just group up on each other and just block each other's sight and then get nuked from AoE effects with the bugs. But I doubt they're going to redo too much of the mechanics. But that was something I wish they would focus more on, because that did get to be pretty frustrating, especially if you wanted to use a real heavy infantry force. you would find that they would just get so grouped together, they'd just be blocking each other's shots. So then it almost forced you to get, the Titans and the more important Marauders and things like that, and then really not have as many units selected. So it kind of was a little bit of a letdown there, because I really liked the infantry command mechanics of this game. It definitely gave you a lot of different things to think about, using your flamers and other units to focus on suppression, which would lower the effects, and then using a bunch of abilities, and then having some healing and some different AoE and different side units to be able to shoot over each other. It just led to some interesting mechanics there. And then they created on July 15th, they released the beta for some of these changes. Now, I was still working my way through the campaign on the 15th, but I didn't use the beta here because it said you'd have to restart your campaign to have the best effect here, and I didn't want to lose the progress I had already made. But looking through this here, so it released the free content here on July 15th. So again, if you're thinking about buying this game, this may sweeten the deal for you here. It is an open beta, so that means there's probably going to be some bugs in there. But with it updated, brought you new units, new mission improvements, and performance improvements for the game itself and the base DLC. And the territory mode content has been disabled so far, so you're not able to play around with it yet, but that may change. So with the base game, the Kawasha campaign added new units with unique roles. The M4A Grinder is a light weapon platform capable of delivering rapid fire. 2 new bipeds, that must be the M4A. And then you have the M9A Sledgehammer, which I'm guessing is here, which carries a heavy mortar for a long-range support, and the M6A Jaeger, and I guess that can be that one, with a heavy anti-armor gun and a spotter drone provide new mobile firepower. And finally, the Fortis E Pulse Troopers wear heavy armor suits and strong frontline defense, so I wonder if that's going to be more heavily armored guys just with the pulse. So it'll be like your Marauder infantry that are a little more armored that you get at the very end tier. I bet this one is just kind of the same thing, but maybe with the pulse rifles. And then with the Raising Hell DLC, new units improvements. So new mercenary units and story updates add versatile support in the field. The drilling bipod is a rugged vehicle that repairs machines, build defense, and hold its own in close combat. So I thought we already had that. Maybe that would, yeah, didn't we already have a very similar unit to this already in the campaign? Maybe that was on the Urban Onslaught that we got access to it, but I thought we kind of had a unit that did that already. And then you had the Hunter Killer Merc, which is quite the opposite, delivering precise long-range strikes, adding a companion drone for spotting and close support. So that might be helpful, because I really did not like those units on the Raising Hell DLC that you'd have to deploy their machine gun and it would overheat and you could have them stand. It just felt like they sometimes struggled at fighting those aerial units. So maybe this Hunter Killer Merc will help make that more effective. And then lastly, the Merc Squad also has an upgraded varied. The Merc Squad has also been upgraded with varied weapons for greater adaptability. Okay, so I guess the Merc Squad just has some different weapons maybe that you can use now. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's very vague. And then the Urban Onslaught has been updated with new units, and the A-12 Pegasus gunship can now unleash relentless rocket barrages designated areas on the ground. So I guess that's just supposed to help you take out those hives on the story missions, because when I'd get some of these guys, I had to do like hit and run tactics, and then depending on how many of those bees or other anti-air units would be in the area would sometimes cause you to have these guys get killed, so you usually have to get like a pack of them to move in there and attack. But I guess with this ability now, it'll just allow you to go in there and then use that rocket barrage to keep landing the rocket attacks instead of trying to run in there and drop those bombs like what I was doing. And then many of the missions have been rebalanced and updated, integrating these new units in their respective campaigns. We recommend you start a new playthrough to get the best experience, and that's why I did not go back through and play with this beta, as I didn't know if that would bug out my campaign or not. And since I was already 30 to 40% of the way through, I didn't want to have to start over again, because then I'd fall behind on the recordings here. And so then for performance improvements, significant optimizations alleviate slowdowns for long play sections, larger maps. Like I said, I didn't really feel too much of that, but good to see that they're always optimizing performance. And then for people who like to make maps, looks like they added a bunch of custom items and things that you can add on to your maps to create a little more variance here. If you're interested in participating in the beta, these are the instructions on how to do it. This is pretty consistent with how they do the betas on any of the Steam games. So if in the future you're playing a Steam game and you're not sure how to do the beta, this is actually how you do it. You just right click it, you click on the beta, you go on the drop down, you select an open beta. Sometimes you have to put in a code. Looks like this one's been officially released, so you should just be able to select that. And then if you want to go back to the original game, then you just turn that off and go back to the properties and turn off that beta, because sometimes that can also give you some bugs, so just be aware of that if you're running into issues here. And then the old territory mode has been deactivated as they're releasing the new one, but if you wanted to go back and bring back that old one, this is telling you how to do that. So should be interesting. I'm glad to see that they're not abandoning this game. I do think it's got some potential. I did enjoy playing through the campaign here, and it looks like sometime in the future I'll be going back to this game to play around with it some more. So I hope that's helpful for you guys, and for those of you that are interested in the Starship Troopers Terran Command game, just be aware that this new beta is out with some new units, and if you're following my original playthroughs, there may be some slight variations now that they're making some changes to the base game, it looks like. So with that, I'm going to sign off for the day. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.